All right, this is it. Our last lesson on flight in Mars. We had so much fun, at least I did, learning about the forces of flight. We learned about gravity that pulls us down. We learned about drag that slows us down. We learned about thrust that moves us forward. And we learned about lift that keeps us up. We also learned a lot about Mars. And aren't you excited about the trip that's coming up in July? And for my friends from last year's class, your name gets to go to Mars. How cool is that? So I thought we would end by just thinking about all the things here on Earth that fly. And so I have my models of different things that can fly. So if we were in the classroom, you would get to look at all of these different things that fly. And I'm sure you've seen some of these, like we made a rocket, right? Rockets can fly. And you know what this is? This is a really big helicopter, right? Helicopters fly. I have different kinds of helicopters that can fly. We have jets that can fly, different kinds of airplanes, right, that can fly. And we have insects like a bee and flies. There's a mammal that can fly. And here's our mammal that can fly. Birds can fly, right? And so we think about all the things that can fly. Here's a butterfly. And so when we look at this butterfly, we think, what does it have that maybe an airplane has or a bird has? So if I put out the butterfly and the bird and an airplane, what do they all have that is the same? Let's think about things that fly. What helps them fly? Well, they all have wings, right? They have wings, and they have something that gives them thrust, right? So they need their wings to get lift, and they have to have something for thrust. What do they use for thrust? Well, an airplane has engines, right? You can see the propellers, starts up its engines, it has fuel on board, and then it creates thrust so it can get lift, right? And then how about the bird? How does a bird get thrust? Bird gets thrust when it flaps its wings, right? And it uses its feet and it starts running and it can get lift, right? How about a butterfly? How does a butterfly get thrust? Well, a butterfly has muscles here in its thorax, very powerful muscles that make its wings flap so that it can go up in the sky and get lift, right? And for all these things, their wings, they have to be shaped so that they can get lift, so that the fast air can go on top and the slow air can go on bottom so they can get lift, right? When we look at our things that can fly, everything has a nose, right? It has a nose, a front end, and it has a tail. The tail, and his abdomen is his tail. Can you see that? He has an abdomen, that is his tail, and the tail of the airplane. You see his tail. Tails are very important. They help the bird fly where he wants to go and do what he wants to do. Another thing that they all have is, think about this. You're in the sky, but you want to come down. How do you come out of the sky? You have to have something to help you land. What do they have? They have some kind of landing gear, right? So this plane has wheels for landing gear. Bird has feet for landing gear. And a butterfly has feet for landing gear, right? So it makes it so they can take off and land very easily. Some things are a little different, like helicopters. Helicopters have landing gear, and they have propellers that help them, rotator blades, I guess they're called, that helps them get lift, right? And an engine for thrust. So they have a lot of the same things. You see the tail here has things over here, special parts of the plane that help it so it can fly, and a nose. So lots of things. Rockets maybe are a little different, but they have an engine down here and fuel to create thrust to go up so they can get lift. They have these things that are called fins. They're called fins. Like sometimes my brain just loses a word. They have fins to help them so they go straight up in the air. If they didn't have fins, they would be all over the place and they couldn't control where they went. So they have to have fins so they go straight up in the air. Does a rocket have landing gear? No, because a rocket doesn't come to back down the same way like a bird would come down or a plane. So parts of the rocket, some of them I think just stay up in space. And other parts that are not needed anymore, like the fuel parts and everything, they just fall back down like that. And they land in the ocean. All right? And so someone will go and recover them. They'll send a boat out to recover them. So it's kind of interesting to think about how things fly. There are so many things. Look at this dragonfly. And he has his abdomen like this that would help him steer, and his wings, because he has muscles in his thorax. And his landing gear too, right? And his head, his nose. So cool. So many things that can fly. And so I was thinking it would be fun for one last activity to make something that can fly. Something that we haven't done before. So I'm going to put these away and I'll be right back to show you what we're going to make. Okay, so this is what we're going to make. We're going to make a helicopter. And this helicopter is very, very similar to the helicopters you see at Cardinal Montessori School. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know the trees at school, the maple trees that get those little seeds? And they have, we call them whirligigs sometimes, or helicopters. And they have the little wings that come out and there's a seed at the bottom. You guys find them on the playground all the time. It's just like that. Because those, they get caught in the breeze and watch. And they come down, right? Gravity makes them come down. And the little wing things on them, it creates lift, right? So the fast air is up here and the slow air is down here. And then they just go down, just like a helicopter. So we're going to make a helicopter today. All right? So this will be pretty fun. I have given your mom and dad this copy so that you can cut this out and you can do this. And again, if mom and dad don't have a printer that works, this wouldn't be too hard to create all on your own. So you could do this, all right? So the first thing you have to do is you have to decorate it. So you have to think, what do you want it to look like? What colors do you want it to be? You can do anything you want with it, all right? So while you're decorating it, you can make sure that you have a scissors and a paper clip. So you see how I have a paper clip, and you're going to need a scissors to cut it out. But it's a pretty simple project. So I'm going to decorate, you're going to decorate. Whatever you want to do. Some of my parts are going to get folded so I won't see them. I honestly don't know which those parts are. So I'm just going to decorate everything. And I don't know how you're going to decorate yours. But I'm going to make lines. Maybe I'll make some circles. So you keep decorating. This is going to take a little while. So I don't know how long it's going to take you to decorate, but when you're going to turn this video off. And when you're done decorating your helicopter, then come back and we'll make it together, okay? Okay, I finished decorating my helicopter, and then I realized I have a maple tree in my yard. It's called the Japanese maple. And look, it has tiny little helicopters on it. Let me see if I can bring some down closer so you can see. Can you see? I'm going to tear some off. They look like little flowers, don't they? But when you look closely, there they are. They like have their little wings. And then here's where the seed is. I don't think these ones are fully developed yet. I think they're still growing. But they're really pretty. And so if I took one and let it go to the ground, let's see. I don't know if we can catch it. Let's see, what does it do? Ooh, that was fast. It goes down really fast. I think its wings have to get bigger. So we'll see. The whole lot of them. But anyhow, they're the same kind of design. So let's try this out, my friends. We're going to get our scissors. All right. And we're going to cut around the outside. So we're just going to cut on the solid black lines. Never cut on the dashed lines. So you see we have dashed lines. Those are our folding lines. We never cut on them. We only cut on the solid black lines, okay? So I'm going to cut out this shape. What shape is this? It's a rectangle. A long, skinny rectangle. We're going to cut. All right. And then we need to only cut on the solid lines. So because I decorated, they might be a little hard to see. But if you need to have like a template, keep this available so your mom or somebody can help you. Okay? So we go like this. We just cut on the solid ones. So we're going to do our cutting. And then I'm going to come over to this side between the A and the B, and I'm going to cut here. Okay? So I cut here between A and B. I cut on the solid line on top of D, and I cut on the solid line on top of C. Okay, so now it's time to fold. So the first thing you can do is you can take C, and you can fold on that line, and just fold C in. Okay? And then you're going to have D. And again, you can kind of tell how I decorate it differently on the thing, so it's kind of easy to see. You're going to fold D in. And now there's these dotted lines down here, dashed lines. Fold on those dashed lines. All right? So now that we have that down, we're going to flip it over, and here's A. We're going to fold A away from you. So A gets folded in one direction. Then you see B, it's folded towards you in the other direction. Okay? So can you see there's a fold on one side and a fold on the other side? These are going to be your wings. All right? And then we need a little weight. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just put the paper clip on the bottom right here. All right? And that will be our weight. So we don't really have any thrust with this because we're just going to hold it up high and we're going to let gravity do its job. But you're definitely going to see gravity at work because it's going to be pulling it down. You're going to see lift because the wings are going to create lift. And of course, there's going to be some amount of drag, right? Because we're going to have some air resistance. So if I stand here, I wonder if I can stand up on this chair. Do you think it's safe to stand on this chair? We'll see. I'm going to stand on this chair and I'm going to put it up as high as I can. And let's watch how it goes down. Whoa! And it twirls down. That was pretty cool. All right, if you're going to stand on a chair, make sure you ask Mom and Dad if it's okay before you stand on one. I can put it up like this too. and we can watch it twirl down. Do you notice how it takes a little while before it starts twirling? It kind of goes and then it twirls. So have fun making your helicopter.